Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu, mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services. Discover how to go from eviction to property multimillionaire with mobile homes. In today's session, we have Adrian Snude, and he went from being evicted many years ago in 2002 to becoming a property multimillionaire. So, Adrian, please tell us, what's the secret to your success?
Oh, the secret to success. There's no one thing I think we all know to one little secret. I think one of my big skill sets is I just won't give up. And when I study all the super successful multimillionaires, they don't give up either when they fail. And I'm just not going to give up. And that's how I've gotten to where I'm at today.
Great. And how did you shift from being evicted to kind of, getting yourself back up?
Well, it was not an overnight story for sure. So yeah, I was evicted for fun things, not what you want if you're the property manager. We had spaghetti wrestling parties, mud wrestling parties, pudding wrestling parties, all inside of a house. So obviously you don't want Adrian and his friends at 20 years old renting from you. And then I went from there to being the landlord. I bought a house and moved my friends in. Quickly learned that's not a good idea. And fast forward a little bit, I was a hobby, property owner, and then I got serious. I said, I want more in my life. I don't want to just work a regular job. I want more. I want more freedom. And that's when I got serious. I got a mastermind group. I got a coach. I started focusing. I started doing my Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod's version, where I got my mindset right in the morning, and I focus most of my time on that now, and I run my business very seriously. And it revolves around my life, so my business serves my life versus me serving my business.
Thank you. And how important is it to become an awakened titan?
I think it's super important because people poured into me, and if they didn't do that for me, then I wouldn't be where I'm at. So I have to do that for other people as well. So it's very fulfilling as well. Money is a challenge. And once we get to that, we finish that money challenge, then the next thing is we want more fulfillment. It becomes easier time-wise to get the fulfillment, and helping others, is directly one-on-one or in group settings, or just people that listen to this that I never actually get to meet. They get helped, and then I get fulfillment from that.
Thank you. And what's your definition of being an awakened titan in terms of habits, values, mission, anything you can think of that's relevant?
I go with the freedom to control your time, to be where you want, when you want, with who you want. I mean, that is what I always go down to. I can say all these other goals, but if I have those three things, then I can do any of these goals. I can get on the show right now. I control my time. And that's the only item that we all have the exact same amount of. We can have all the money in the world, but if we don't have time, what do we do with the money? So I love the control of the time. And if I can help other people get that control, then I feel fulfilled again. And that's it. Everyone's thing comes back to the time. As I talk to everyone, they always want the time aspect of it. We keep asking why over and over and over again. It comes back to a time element. From my experience.
Thank you. And what's something that you do to make a difference to other people?
My goal is to be extremely authentic and open with not just my success, but my failures, my problems. The second property I ever had, I gave it up as a short sale. That was embarrassing. I didn't talk about it for a while. But if I talk about that and help other people see, hey, I'm normal too. Once we get to the successful level, sometimes we don't think that person ever makes mistakes. And I have that challenge with some of my mentors at times. And I remember, oh yeah, they're normal people. They make mistakes as well. So if we can make it okay as leaders to make mistakes, then more people will go and take action quicker because we all make mistakes. So it's making that okay. going back to the business serving our life versus our life serving the business, I want to make that okay as well, because I believe too many people today are work, 80, 90 hours a week, grind. And yes, there's that time, but I don't believe that that is how we want to live life forever. So I want to make it cool to not work all the time again.
Thank you. There's my interpretation of being an awakened titan, I mean, it has so many levels, but one level that I think is very important is taking responsibility for yourself. So for example, even being punctual, being socially conscious, being aware of your impact on other people's feelings, being your word, doing what you said you would do, and apologizing and taking the courage to say sorry when you've made a mistake. Is there anything like that that you incorporate into your business strategy, and has that led to a higher yield, higher higher bottom line? Just incorporating awakened habits, awakened Titan habits, let's say, into your business strategy.
Yeah, I love your definition of being an awakened Titan. I thought of 3 times while you were saying all that, explaining it, integrity. And that's one of my highest values. Everyone has it, but we're in different orders on everything we have. Integrity is usually my number one when I do any of these personality tests. And to me, you explain integrity. So doing what you say, showing up on time, like you said, and early is on time to me. So it's those things, and people respect that. And when they see the integrity or everything you just described, if it's good or bad, sometimes it doesn't make us look good. But if we admit that and say it, then people like us more. I hate the term normal, but I'm losing a better word right now. When we are human, I think that's the right word. We all make mistakes, but if we can be transparent and have integrity and own up when we make those mistakes, but make them few and fewer. My dad always said it's okay to make a mistake as long as you don't make it twice. And I love that, because that just means you learned from it and you pivoted your life. You didn't make the same mistake over and over and over again. So yes, it's helped me in business because more people want to do business with me. It's broadened my network. And I believe in like the law of attraction, karma, energy, whatever you actually want to call it. And I believe that's in play there too. As long as I'm putting out that energy, it's going to come back to me.
Yes, I actually think that, being in integrity and being your word and being responsible and saying sorry, and also being considerate of other people's feelings in business, not just in business, but in life as well. Let's say you have a meeting that runs late. Make sure to inform your life partner you're going to be running late if she was expecting you for dinner, or all these little things. And it's the same thing with people in business. Sometimes people say, "Oh, let's meet tomorrow," and actually tomorrow comes and nothing happens, and then you lose credibility in the eyes of another person. And I find that is one of the key strategies to build a successful business, where you are building on a solid foundation because you are your word. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree. I think that what you're saying is probably the easiest way to get an edge on all your quote unquote competition, because so many people aren't on time or they don't show up. And if you just do that, you're so far ahead. I have a strict rule. If you stand me up twice or no show, or even if you have a decent excuse, I can't do business, because you just set the expectation that you're going to be late all the time. I'll wait maybe 5 minutes. And if it's more than that, there's a few times I've made an exception. It almost always burns me, because you're setting that you're always going to be late or you're never going to be showing up on time. And it's not the way I want to do business.
Yes, and I'll tell you something that I did as a mistake, which was that I booked a flight to see 2 property multimillionaires in Ireland. Okay. And because I didn't check the distance very well from the airport to the location where we were supposed to meet, I just assumed it was going to be in front of the airport or something, and it wasn't. It was 3 hours by bus away, and you still had to wait half an hour for the actual bus. And we set a time to meet there, I think 10:30 or 11, I can't remember, or no, 12. And then I arrived at the meeting point at 2:15. And, these two multimillionaires, they had set their time in a way that they only work on Tuesday for 2 hours between, 2 and 4 or whatever time frame it was. So what was funny about that was that despite the fact that I took a plane all the way from London, UK, okay, to Ireland, which took, a few hours, and I got there, 2 hours and a half late or whatever it was. And of course, I was embarrassed and everything, but 15 minutes later, one of them left. And I actually traveled all the way to mainly see that one because he was, harder to catch and the other one was a little bit more accessible. So it was like one mistake that I did. And I can't say I never make mistakes, but I really try my hardest to be punctual, to inform, to apologize if anything. And I missed that opportunity. I only had 15 minutes with a property multimillionaire. We were going to do a large event with, of hundreds of people. So it's like sometimes you miss major opportunities. Do you agree with that?
I totally do. And it sounds like you actually won from that, even though maybe that didn't work out. But that's made such a big impact on you. You did what my dad has always said. You're not making the mistake twice. And yes, it sucks, I think, when we make a mistake and we lose out on a big opportunity, like sounds like you might have there. But to never let that happen again, you kind of win. It's a slower game, but I find it as a win.
Yeah, very, very, very good point. And how did you become a Titan? Like, what was your journey of how you went from, okay, you have nothing, and all of a sudden you're, building up, and you're like a multimillionaire.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like a decade or so later. So two really impactful things that helped accelerate that. One of my coaches at the time, he questioned over and over again. He's like, what do you want right now? And as in real estate investing is where I was at, right? And I said everything, I want some appreciation, all the benefits that real estate give us. And he kept saying, no, you can have one thing. What do you want? And it took a while of him questioning over and over. And I finally said, well, I want cash flow because I can eat off and live off of cash flow right now. I can't with appreciation. That's a future thing. So he got me fixated on just cash flow because that was the immediate goal. And then we did the second thing that was super impactful is at that time we needed 10 more properties to hit a big goal, to retire my wife. And my goal was to retire her at 29. So we took a board and we put down 10 lines all along it. And then you buy one property, you put the amount on, and then it's so we basically tracking the goal. So every time we walked in there, the wall showed this. So we were seeing it was on top of mind over and over. It was affirming because I had to help her believe that it was possible. And just seeing that and always in front of us, the big goal. So everything had to go towards that goal. Those two things helped focus me. And I hit the hockey stick curve, where we just take off on success. So since then, it's been tweaking it, taking my time back, putting some systems in place. But that's what gave me the growth to be able to do everything else.
Thank you. And what's your blueprint to become an awakened Titan in particular, not just a Titan, but an awakened Titan that is, so considerate about others and his impact in the world?
I want to go back to the mindset. The business stuff, you've got all the books behind you, the people you've helped. I've written a book. This is all information. But if we don't do the mindset stuff, whatever it is, for me, it's the miracle morning of my meditation, my exercise, my incantations, my meditation. That's what it is for me that gets me centered and my mindset right. So that then if I do mess up, I feel okay to apologize. But if I'm in a stressed environment and feeling all the time, I'm probably not going to say I'm sorry as quick, or I'm going to be harsh on people. I just found I'm a better person for myself, for my personal life, and for my business when I get my mindset right. So I start my day with that every day. Some days it's 7 minutes, and some days it's an hour and a half. But I never start my day without it. I shouldn't say never. It's been a dozen or so times, and I will tell you, those are not as good of days.
Thank you. And would you suggest that exact routine to other entrepreneurs?
Yes. I am a huge Hal Elrod fan. So if you haven't, his book Miracle Morning, at least try it out. You can read the book, listen to it. I mean, his stuff is all over the place. And then make your own variation. Mine is very heavy, his stuff, but I have tweaked it. Everyone has a morning routine. Sometimes it's only get on your phone and check social media. That may or may not be the best morning routine, but there's something you can add in there, and everyone has something that works better for them, and you have to try it out. I listen to a bunch of podcasts and I'll pick up something. Ooh, I want to try that, and I'll put it in there. For me, I give it at least 60 days before. I don't give it 3 or 4 days. No, that doesn't really work. I like to commit for 60 days, and then I make the decision. Is it impacting my life? Is my life better with it or without it?
Wow, that's really interesting. And how did you start doing that? Was there a particular experience that kind of awakened your drive to make a difference and be successful at the same time? Or was it that experience we already shared?
I was at a moment that we had a very comfortable life. We could have lived in the nice middle class neighborhood, and we had decent jobs, but I couldn't put in words then. But now I know I wanted the time thing that I was so passionate about earlier. I knew I wanted something more, so I kept thinking about it, and I finally just got myself uncomfortable. became uncomfortable being comfortable, and I took a big risk. And at the same time, so I was willing to try all different things at that time. And someone in one of the original mastermind groups I was in challenged me to try the Miracle Morning. And he said for 66 days to try it to create a real habit. So I committed to it, and the integrity thing, if I commit, I'm going to do it. And I realized how much better I was feeling and how much more successful, and everything was starting to go that way. So they tasted that success, and I kept doing it. And that's why now I don't go without it, because I know it's one of the keys for me. That's probably one of the launching pads. And then it's just asking people for help over and over and over again. We mentioned earlier that you fail. We all have a fear of failure, but if we go through life never failing, then we're not taking enough risk, I believe. And you have to take some risks, so you fail, but then you ask your coach, your mastermind group, your close friends that have already been through it, ask them for help, and then they help lift you up, and you can go do it again and again and again.
Thank you. Was there an element of spirituality, manifestation, prayers, anything like that helped you on your goal?
That is a great question. I am very big into meditation. That's my spirituality. I mean, we get into the religion. I like to actually go to all different type of churches, because I find there's a beautiful combination of, they all have something to do with love, and meditation has that too. So meditation is what I resonate with the most, and it's that calming. Now I do some research on the science of what's happening in my brain behind it, but if I can actually just get myself to calm down. So I'm very big into yoga, which has a correlation with the meditation. It's a meditative movement, and that just centers me, and I just feel relaxed and peaceful. And then everything's better when we have that filter on. I used to just go, and it wasn't good.
For me, I find that when I feel closer to love and joy, and when I embody it so much that I feel like my heart is going to explode without any reason, regardless of anything that's happening in my life. And I have had many moments in my life where there was no reason why I should be so happy, but I just was without any reason. And I find that when I'm closer to love and joy, that's when manifesting anything I desire becomes more possible. So including meeting perhaps the right mentor, the right property mentor, the right information, being more open to the idea of, okay, let me invest in property or whatever it is. And did you find that that helped you as well?
Yes, I actually was manifesting money this week. I did it a little more. I'd gotten away from, I'll say, focusing on that, but I was like, oh, let me make some goals. And and it happened faster and faster. And I know it works for you because the way you just lit up. So anyone that's not watching it, you have to see your smile when you talked about the feeling you wanted to explode from all the love. You had a smile bigger than you've had this whole time. And you can't create that without that feeling. That's how I know it was so real for you. You didn't just study that, you've experienced it. Because you almost exploded with your smile. It was beautiful.
Thank you. And for someone who's watching, who maybe doesn't have anything right now, but wants to build a property business like yours, what would be some steps to do that?
I'm going to put the shameless plug to read my book, How to Buy Mobile Homes. And you'll see it's a storyline of my journey. So starting out as that tenant and going in it, but through it, I also teach about mobile homes. So through there, you'll see that I'm not special. I just didn't give up. I did everything we talked about here today. I kept going and going. So I would say to do the same thing. Maybe after you're reading it, you're like, yes, I want this mobile home thing. There's my contact information in there. Or maybe you're like, no, mobile homes aren't for me. Perfect. Less than $20, you found out what's not for you. And I think part of the hard thing in being an entrepreneur is figuring out what's not for you, because we have this huge amount of things that for. As we narrow down what's not, now we just have a few things to pick from, and you pick one and you go with it. I found my success in mobile homes, and there's still a hidden niche in my opinion. So I would do that. You got to take something and take action. There's something from this episode that you can take action on like today, not just wait to next week. So that would be my advice.
Thank you. And what's your message for property entrepreneurs wanting to grow?
Take that massive, imperfect action and ask for help. Fail forward and ask for help.
Thank you so much for this amazing episode. And we'll see you next time. Your contact details are going to be in the description box. And hope a lot of people get to meet you and for us to meet in person as well.
Sounds great. Thank you, Lily.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.